Hi, and welcome to the third in this series of Q&A videos on conversational copywriting. Actually, this one, I wasn't sent this question, but it's an answer I wanted to share, so I'm actually going to ask the question myself, and here it is. What do I think is the most powerful way to get conversational with a website's audience? Well, in the course itself, I cover a variety of ways, easy win ways to get conversational with the people who visit your website. But out of all of those, there is one that I think stands out as being the most powerful. And it's not a trick or a tip, it's something that you apply and can keep going with for years and years and years. And I've done that myself. I'll tell you about that in a moment. So if I had to choose, like I say, out of all the different ways to get conversational, what I would do is I would set up a Q&A page on your site, or indeed you can do it on Facebook, you could do it through social media. The idea is that you invite your readers, your visitors, to ask you questions. This is not hard to do. This is not hard to set up. I've done this for myself. I've done this for clients. It's not complicated and has amazing benefits. So, three ways in which this can positively impact pretty much any kind of business. It doesn't matter whether you're selling a product or a service, whether you're B2C or B2B. You know, setting up that whole Q&A thing has amazing outcomes. First of all, is you are automatically now getting into conversation with your visitors, because as soon as somebody asks a question and you provide an answer, you're now in conversation. If you do this on Facebook, or if you do it within a blog format where there's a comment function available and other people can participate, now with every question you have the potential to be in conversation with several dozens of readers. So now just automatically, as soon as you get into Q&A, you're becoming conversational with your audience, which means you're engaging them at a whole different level, way beyond just the informational stuff, way beyond the marketing sales stuff. Now you're actually getting into the sharing of information. You are being incredibly helpful. You are becoming a valuable part of their search for information, for the truth, for reliable information on the topic that interests them. So, next benefit, that's first benefit. Second benefit of this is that as soon as you open the gates on this Q&A thing, you will be amazed by the questions that people ask. We all set out in business thinking we know what our prospects and customers want. We think we know what's important to them. And truth be told, we really don't. Every single time I've deployed this, whether it's for a client or for myself, we have been amazed by the questions that come in, like, oh wow, we didn't realize people were interested in that. We didn't realize that was so important to so many people. We didn't even realize people would think to ask that question. So if you're not asking questions, you are in a sense blind to a lot of the things that are very important to your audience. As soon as you open the gate, you give them the opportunity to ask those questions, you very quickly become much, much smarter about what is important to your audience and how you can better serve them. The third thing, the third huge benefit here, and this speaks very much to a lot of the stuff I talk about in conversational copywriting, is that as you get into that whole Q&A process, it changes the way you write about your products, your services, your industry. Because when you are answering questions for people, you don't write in marketing speak, at least I hope you don't. You don't write in kind of Wikipedia, informational, formal, corporate language. You talk as if you are talking in conversation. So the more you participate in this process of answering these questions, the more naturally conversational your language becomes, and hopefully that begins to flow outwards onto other pages on your site, so that your content, that your marketing, your emails, your e-newsletters, everything takes on more of that personal, interpersonal, engaging, conversational tone and style. So 3 huge benefits to Q&A. So, interesting question that sometimes people ask me, well, not often, and it's usually members of my family. They say, well, Yeah, but are you making all this up? And no, I'm not. I've said a few times that I've done this with clients. I've done this for myself. If you want a third-party endorsement, check out a book by a fellow called Marcus Sheridan. He's an inbound marketing expert, and he's written an entire book on this subject. It's called They Ask, You Answer. All right, go to Amazon, you'll find it there. They Ask, You Answer by Marcus Sheridan. And he tells the story of before he became an inbound marketing expert, he was a pool company salesman. In fact, he still has his pool business. And he saved his business. He saved the business after the kind of crash of 2008, 2009, when nobody was buying pools. This is exactly what he did on their website. He opened up a Q&A page, and he credits that with turning the business around. So that's just one of the stories he shares in that book. Also for myself, maybe you know I have a website about coffee. It's called Coffee Detective. It's about making gourmet coffee at home. I've been doing it for about 10 years. There's over 1,000 pages, I think about 1,300 pages on the site now. And like I say, 10 years I've been doing it, but the site really took off in terms of traffic and engagement about 6-7 years ago, when I did exactly what I'm talking about. I introduced a page saying, hey, if you've got questions about coffee, ask them. And exactly as I described is what happened for me. Questions came in, I provided the answers. I had them on pages where there was comment streams available, so I was in conversation with the person who asked the question, and then I got into conversation with all the other people who jumped in with their opinions and thoughts and follow-up questions. So very quickly became conversational. And yes, as I described, I was amazed by the questions people were asking about coffee. I would never have thought the people would be interested, but they were. So I learned a huge amount about what my audience really wanted. And yes, it informed the way that I write and the tone that I take and the style that I use when I'm writing elsewhere on the website. So that is my Q&A for this week. Like I say, I asked the question and provided the answer this time. So yeah, if there's one huge thing you can do in terms of conversational copywriting for your site or for your client side, it is to do that, to create an opportunity for your audience to ask you questions. And in that spirit, if you've got any questions for me relating to conversational copywriting, please ask. Thank you.